He had nothing. No job, no money, no plan. But when a stranger's car broke down, he stopped to help. What happened next? No one could have imagined. This is the story of how a jobless father became the CEO of a global company because of one selfless act. The cold morning wind stung Jacob Reynolds' face as he crouched beside the rusty hood of his aging pickup truck. His hands were raw, calloused, and stained with oil, not from working a job, but from keeping his old engine alive long enough to drop his daughter off at school. 3 months had passed since the factory laid him off. 30 applications, 0 callbacks, and a family running on empty. Yet every morning, Jacob smiled for his little girl. "We'll be all right." "Sweetheart," he whispered, kissing her forehead, though he wasn't sure how much longer he could pretend. That morning, on his way back from another fruitless interview, he saw a sleek black Mercedes stalled at the side of the road, steam billowing from its hood. A woman stood beside it, helplessly waving her arms as other drivers sped past. Jacob hesitated. He had nothing left to offer. No job, no prestige, barely enough gas. But he pulled over. "You need help?" he asked. She nodded, flustered. "I think something's wrong with the radiator. I'm supposed to be at a meeting. I'm really late." Without asking more, Jacob rolled up his sleeves and popped the hood. He worked like he'd done it all his life, tightening hoses, patching leaks, testing the coolant flow. After half an hour, the engine purred back to life. The woman stared at him, stunned. "You're amazing," she said. "How much do I owe you?" Jacob shook his head. "I'm not a mechanic. I'm just a dad trying to help." "No charge?" she insisted, but Jacob declined. "Just help someone else if you get the chance." She watched him drive away in his beat-up truck, her eyes lingering on the kindness of a stranger who asked for nothing. Weeks passed. Bills piled up. The fridge was nearly empty. Jacob was patching holes in his shoes when the doorbell rang. He opened the door to see a sharply dressed man holding a white envelope.
"Mr.
"Reynolds," the man asked. "We've been looking for you. Ms. Donovan would like to see you." "Donovan?" he asked, confused. The man smiled. "CEO of Donovan International." Jacob's heart skipped. "I think there's been a mistake." "No mistake, sir. She's asked for you personally." Still in disbelief, Jacob found himself escorted to the towering glass building he once passed and dreamed of working in. Inside the penthouse office, sunlight poured through the floor-to-ceiling windows. There she stood, the woman with the broken-down Mercedes. "Mr. Reynolds," she said warmly, stepping forward. "I've been waiting to repay your kindness." Jacob blinked, still stunned. "I just fixed your car." "You didn't just fix my car," she said. "You stopped your day. You asked for nothing. That's rare." "That's leadership. That's heart." She handed him a folder. "I did some digging. You were a team lead at the factory. You handled safety, managed people, solved real problems with limited resources. You kept people motivated through the toughest years. You didn't just survive, you led. That's the kind of mind I need." Jacob flipped through the folder. It wasn't a job offer. It was a contract, a full executive package. Benefits, relocation, salary with more zeros than he'd ever seen, and the title, Chief Executive Officer. His voice trembled. I'm just a mechanic, a dad." "You're more than that," she smiled. "You're exactly the kind of person who should be leading. A tears welled in Jacob's eyes. He thought of his daughter, of every night he stayed up worrying, of every, "We'll be all right." He whispered, not knowing if it was true. And now, this, from a random act of kindness. His entire life was about to change. Weeks later, Jacob stood at the front of a boardroom, addressing a room full of executives. His confidence wasn't from fancy degrees or business suits. It came from hardship, resilience, and compassion. From knowing what it meant to struggle and still show up for others. Leadership, he told them, isn't about titles. It's about showing up when no one's watching. Doing what's right, not for gain, but because it's who you are. And every night, he still tucked his daughter in with the same kiss on the forehead, only now she slept soundly in a warm home with a future as bright as her father's spirit. Sometimes life doesn't reward power. It rewards heart. And one small act, fixing a stranger's car, became the miracle that rewrote a man's destiny. If this story touched your heart, reminded you of the power of kindness, and gave you hope in difficult times, please subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and drop a KRMA in the comments. Your support helps us bring more inspiring stories like this to the world. Remember, one act of kindness can change everything. Who knows? You might be someone's miracle today.